We are doing number 4 now of these things around Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And we're going to be talking today about red onion. Red onion. People hear that and often are very curious, why red onion? And it has a lot to do with the traditions of the people from Europe who settled there in that little mining community. They were, for the most part, immigrants from Europe who brought with them their traditions from Europe. And they, one of the traditions they brought was drying things, like on the front porch if necessary. They would dry red onions or onions on the porch or out back or wherever. And also there were, the houses were red. The little patch town there of red onion was owned by Keystone, who painted all their things, all their structures, barn red, which is red oxide. So that's how we get red onion. And then we come to another name for the place called Hayden Ville. And that came from John R. Hayden. If you go to courthouse records, you can find more than 126 acres being sold to Keystone Coal and Coke by John R. Hayden and his wife right down there. I mean, that's certainly a lot more than the little coal patch town. They sold a lot of coal area. So it was called Haydenville and Red Onion, and also Keystone number 2. That was the mine that owned it. And it's time, I think, for us to do a bit of a shifting of gears, to look at the views one by one. This is, I think, of as the Red Onion House. You've probably driven past it, and I'll show you a picture of it. It's still there. It was, in 1940, a bar. And this was Bert, Uncle Joe, Adam, and Stanley hanging out on there. The mine itself closed down in 1936. And here we are, present tense. This is the house. It's still there. It's now been broken up into apartments. And there's a place right across the street that still deals in beer. These are duplexes built by the mine. They were where the miners lived. And what I'm doing is I'm zooming in to show you back here. This bridge going over 119 takes the Roundabout branch over the road. And that's the Roundabout branch, and that's the little town of Red Onion. And that is the mine where the guys worked when the thing was running. Started in the 1890s, early 1890s, around 93. This right here, in this 1915 mapping, shows the house that we were just looking at. This is 1912. What I put a little bit of color on was the southwest branch and the Roundabout branch. That is the mine itself, and that is Red Onion right there. This is a context shot, another one I like to let people know where we're at. This is Route 30 with Greensburg up here. This is South Greensburg, which is separate from Greensburg. This is the little village of Red Onion, and this is where the mine used to be. The mine was quite extensive. One of the largest buildings there was the place where they kept the mules. The mules hauled the coal carts around in the mine. The next thing we will see was this structure here, the tipple that hung out over the railroad tracks. That's the railroad tracks looking more or less northwest. The mine was up here. tipple that dumped the coal on the railroad cars. That's the tipple we were just looking at. This was a little shed for the locomotive. Keystone Coal and Coke owned its own locomotive, which you can see right there. That was the mine up there. That's another shot from the Westmoreland County Historical Society of the tipple at Red Onion. You can see the cars, coal cars under there, getting loaded from the tipple. This shot is looking east. That is the only shot I have from the inside of a building at the mine there. That's the Compressor House. And the Compressor House made a lot of compressed air because they had compressed air engines. This was the Compressor House. And you can see these buildings held the little compressed air engines. They weren't steam engines, they were things that ran on compressed air inside of the mine to haul the coal around. Now we're looking at things very much present tense. This is the little village of Red Onion. This is where the mine used to be. This is the Roundabout branch coming down through there that used to haul the coal, but it still runs. It's still connected. That is the mine today. And that place has been doubly damaged. After there was a mine there, there was a strip mine there. And I'm always amazed how Mother Nature somehow comes along and cleans up and fixes up the messes the human beings make. It's, you know, nature is growing green things again there. Now here we have a Leroy Smeltzer photo. We're looking up at, this is 1950, about 1950. This is where the mine used to be. These are the sheds that used to hold the mules. This is the Roundabout branch coming down, and Junction with the southwest branch. This is Red Onion over here. And by 1950 there was what we know as 119 coming down there. This is the main street in Red Onion. That's Keystone, named for the mine, Keystone Coal and Coke. This view is looking north. That's Keystone. That's the mine over there. It shows it's pretty extensive, actually. Another Leroy Smeltzer photo. This is Keystone Avenue in Red Onion. The mine over here. And the next thing we'll see will be something that was over here on the corner. Once upon a time, this area was known as Glory Town for reasons I do not know. And this was actually a hotel once upon a time. And that's what it looks like now. It's the Hunt Club. And it still sits there. And I'll show you what it looked like in 1905. It was the Hotel Lehman in Glory Town. And maybe somebody knows why that was called Glory Town. I don't. Maybe they can tell me. Now here is something that might explain why there was a hotel here. There was once upon a time, in 1915, a railroad station right there, right where the Roundabout branch met the southwest branch. There was a hotel. This junction was called the County Home Junction, and that also may serve to explain it, because people might be coming there to visit their relatives at the county home. And now we'll move on one more step. This takes us to the final thing. Here was Red Onion Mine. This was Red Onion. And we see down here coke ovens. They were not part of the Red Onion Mine. They were from the Martha Bell Mine, which we will not see this time. We will see again. And it is time to say so long, and we'll see you again. So long. Bye now.